Even though we live in a very online world where the vast majority of communication today happens via text, email, social media messaging, if you still cannot start a conversation with anyone, then you're absolutely holding yourself back from achieving your biggest goals and dreams personally and professionally. But if you do learn how to start a conversation with anyone, then everything can change for you. You can feel unstoppably confident in your ability to communicate effectively, to meet more of the right people, to open up more of the best opportunities to live a more meaningful, fulfilling, and enriched life because you have this thing that we all want, great human connection. It all starts with starting a conversation. And by the end of this video, you'll have specific tips so that you can start a conversation with anyone and feel confident about doing it. I'm JJ Peller, author of the book Attract Your Potential, and the purpose of this channel is to empower, inspire, encourage, and equip awesome people like you to take control of your thinking, to master your communication, and improve your life in every area of your life. So let's dive into tip number 1 for starting a conversation with anyone. Philosophy before strategy. Philosophy is the foundation for everything we do in life. Philosophy, your life philosophy, my life philosophy, is made up of our beliefs and values and the way that we see the world. And so many people want to know, what's the tip? What's the one idea or strategy that can take me to my next level? And that's fine, but if you're not building that strategy off of a solid foundation of philosophy, then you're holding yourself back. You're not going to be as strong as possible in your positioning for moving forward even faster. So what do I mean by your life philosophy, especially as it relates to starting conversations? Well, what I mean is, what does it even mean for you to start a conversation with someone? What is that as it relates to your overall life philosophy? Do you believe that starting a conversation with someone is going to be an enriching experience? Do you believe it's important for your personal and career success? Do you believe that starting a conversation with anyone is your way to meet that person that's going to become your spouse or partner or significant other? Do you believe that being able to start a conversation with anyone is how you'll meet your next great friend or someone that you can start a business with? You have to know consciously, intentionally, what is your overall philosophy for life, and a piece of that overall philosophy is what's your philosophy for the reasons why being able to start a conversation with anyone and communicate effectively is really powerful and important and maybe even vital for your ability to live a very successful, fulfilling, and meaningful life. And the second tip, expect the best. So here's the challenge that most people face. When they are thinking about or being anxious about starting a conversation with anyone, whether they're in line at a coffee shop or sitting down at a coffee shop next to a person that they see all the time at that coffee shop, or they're at a networking event, or they're in their office and they are meeting new people, they're new to the workplace, they believe very often, unconsciously, that something's going to go wrong. They believe that the conversation's not going to go great. They believe they're going to mess up. They believe they're going to be rejected. There are any number of beliefs that you or I or anyone can have that is the actual opposite of the best. And when we expect things to not go well, they tend to give us less confidence. And when we have less confidence, we show up with less energy and certainty. And if you show up with less energy and certainty, you're not going to show up as your best self. And if you don't show up as your best self, you cannot be in the best position to start a great conversation. In fact, you likely won't even start the conversation. And so my hope for you is that you'll start to expect the best. Expect the conversation to go great. Expect that the person wants to talk to you. Expect that they're excited for you to say something to them. I can tell you that many of the people that I know that are fearless, or I should say courageous, when it comes to starting conversations with virtually anyone, they don't even think that the other person isn't excited to talk with them. They just assume that people want to have conversations. They just assume that that's the way the world works. That's part of their philosophy that they have for life and what it means to start a conversation. Just like that's what people do. That's what humans do. We ask questions, we interact, we start conversations, and we have conversations. And so what I'd invite you to consider is, what are the beliefs that you have? What are your expectations when you're thinking about starting a conversation with someone? Because if all you're thinking is how it's going to go wrong or bad, or you're going to mess up, or you're going to say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing or laugh awkwardly or whatever it is, you're focused on the wrong thing. You're focused on something that will disempower you instead of focusing on something that can absolutely encourage and inspire and empower you. By focusing on the best outcome, by focusing on the fact that these people that you're looking to start a conversation with want you to start a conversation with them, you will get yourself to the place of having that confidence to lean in, step up, and start that conversation. Number 3, being is greater than saying. What I mean by this is how you're being when you start a conversation, or the moments before you start a conversation and as you start the conversation, is much more important for starting the conversation than whatever it is that you're going to say. Because people feel your vibe. People feel your energy. People feel who you are by how you're being. And this reason, this third point, is exactly why it's vitally important to show up every single day with the mindset for personal growth, to learn, to develop your thinking, to reflect, to see life differently, to see yourself differently. Because as you work through your own personal growth and become the next best version of yourself every single day, then you're going to be a better person. That is actually the core premise of my book, Attract Your Potential. I truly believe that as we become the best versions of ourselves, that's when we start to attract more of the right people. People will want to have conversations with you as you work on yourself, as you start to exude this positive, joyful energy. So your being, the way you show up in the world, is so much more important than anything you could say. There's no one-liner that's going to change your life in a given conversation, but what can change your life is the way you show up with other people, the way you show up for yourself first and foremost, and secondarily, the way you just show up and present yourself in the world. That's your energy that comes through. That's the mindset and philosophies that you have that are unseen. They're invisible to everybody else, but you've got them in your head and in your heart. And when you show up with that mindset and that heart set, that's what people will feel. So your being is of much greater importance than whatever you say. So if you can start to remind yourself that how you show up is the thing that will make a difference in your ability to feel confident in having that conversation or starting that conversation, you can change everything for yourself, because you'll stop focusing on what do I need to say, and instead you'll start asking yourself, who do I need to be? How do I need to show up in this given moment and in every day of my life? Point number 4, have a go first mindset. I remember listening to the Tim Ferriss podcast years ago when I first started listening to podcasts, in those early days that I was feeding my mind with podcasts. And I just remember, I don't remember the episode, but I remember he said something along the lines of go first. And it stuck in my head because he said a lot of people, when they're out and about in the world and they're walking past another human, or they're in line at a coffee shop or wherever, they just pass each other. They kind of ignore the other humans around them. And as I remember what he was sharing, he was making the point that if you just decide to go first, if you decide that you're going to smile at that person first, the person you're walking by, you're going to just smile at, you're going to look at, you're going to make eye contact with, or the person you're standing near, or someone that you just happen to be around in whatever environment you're in, at lunchtime, at dinner time, at out and about, whatever it is, if you can choose to have a go first mindset, and you're not waiting for other people to say hello to you or to smile at you, but you do it first, you will strengthen your mindset, and your belief and your philosophy will build stronger for the fact that starting conversations and going first with other people is important, and it's fun, and it's exciting, and it inspires you to want to do it more and more often. And I got to tell you, if you're really not excited right now about starting a conversation with another person, not because you don't think it could be great, but because you're maybe a little nervous or anxious, instead of thinking about right now for the next 30 days, instead of thinking about starting conversations, think about this concept of go first. And just decide that for the next week or the next 2 weeks, every time that you pass someone or stand by someone in line, you're going to smile at them and make eye contact. You're going to be the person that goes first, and you're just going to acknowledge that the humans around you actually exist. Wouldn't that be nice for a change? So instead of just walking by people, instead of putting your head down, instead of pulling your phone out to act like you're doing something so you can avoid eye contact with another human, look at them directly and just smile. Even if it's a little smirk, that's fine. But take that step outside of your comfort zone to go first. Because if you're not excited or feeling nervous or unconfident about starting conversations, then maybe your next first step is to just go first. And I believe that this is a small muscle that if you strengthen it, can be a solid foundation for your next step of actually starting conversations with other humans. So go first, because I believe that will lead to greater confidence to actually start more conversations. Number 5, have fun. Have fun. You know, it's a real easy thing to do, to feel like, okay, I'm going to watch this video that JJ's making and I'm going to go out and I'm going to do this thing and I'm going to be very regimented about it. I'm going to go first. I'm going to start conversations. And you get so caught up in thinking about starting conversations that you lose sight of the real core thing that can happen by starting conversations. You can enjoy life. You can have fun. And so if your mindset, instead of waiting for something to inspire you or excite you to have fun, or to feel like, oh, that conversation went well, now I can have fun. If you just decide that you're going to have fun with it no matter what, then you're going to show up with better energy. You're going to be better in that moment. You're going to have more positive energy. You're going to be playful. And people want to be around that kind of energy, especially in today's world where there's so much negativity and challenge and struggle. And people who are having hard times, people who emotionally and mentally are struggling today. If you can be someone that shows up with this fun, playful energy because you're having fun, you're enjoying it, then you're going to inspire other people and you're going to make it easier to connect with you. Other people will want you to start conversations with them because you're the fun person. Everybody wants to spend time with the fun person. Everybody wants to enjoy life. There are very few people that I've ever come across in my life that genuinely don't want to enjoy life. Maybe one or two, and maybe it was the one or two same people over and over again. But most people want to have fun. They want to enjoy life. They want to find freedom of expression of who they are, and laughter and joy and excitement and good positive energy. So if you show up to have fun, you're going to express and radiate that positivity and that fun and that playfulness outside of you, and it's going to make other people just want to have those conversations with you. So decide that you're going to have fun with this. Don't think of it as a chore, oh, I've got to figure out how to start conversations. Think of it as a fun game to meet people, to interact with other humans, and you will absolutely shift your paradigm about what it means to start conversations with other human beings. Last but not least, trust your subconscious. You've probably heard it said, you need to trust your gut on this one. And the challenge most people have with starting a conversation is they feel like, I don't know what to say. I don't know what the words are. What's the question to ask? And they get into the minutia of it and they think too much of it. And what happens when you think too much about something? It's got a name. It's called overthinking. And you've probably heard analysis paralysis. When you overthink things, it holds you back from just going. It holds you back from just doing and taking action. And so what I want to encourage you to do is, instead of thinking, gosh, what am I going to say to this person when I start the conversation? I want to encourage you to just trust your gut. Trust your instinct. Trust whatever comes through you from your subconscious. You've lived life long enough to this point to have many experiences with other people. You've got wisdom in you. You've got confidence in you. You've got excitement and energy and joy and fun inside of you right now that you need to just unleash into the world, into these conversations. And if you can just trust your subconscious, you can trust your experiences in life. You can trust that you'll be given the words, that you'll have the words, that you can speak with the energy and enthusiasm and curiosity that you need to start a conversation with anyone, then you can show up with greater confidence because you're not worried about what to say. You know it's there. And if you can just trust your subconscious to bring you the words, to bring you the energy, to bring you the questions, to bring you into the place that you need to communicate effectively, to converse well with another human being, then you absolutely can have unshakable confidence to start a conversation with anyone. And continuing to use these tips, I want to continue to help you to master your mindset and take yourself to the next level. So go and watch this video right now, because I know it will help you continue to feel inspired, empowered, and encouraged to take your life to the next level, live an extraordinary life, feel unstoppably confident, and do whatever you are meant to do in this world. My friend, just keep going.